Due to the potential serious health concerns caused by COVID-19 and the associated restrictions on travel and mass gatherings, the upcoming Street League Skateboarding World Championship in London has been postponed indefinitely. Skate contests are in a very weird state right now. It would seem as though 1,000 people gathered in a room inches away from each other's face in enclosed spaces is something that just isn't gonna happen. I called my friend Mickey Papa to talk about all things skate contests, the trying path to skate in something like Street League, all the way to what it takes to get into the Olympics, and the possibility that, well, skateboarding in the Olympics never happens. Street League.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. How many different contests did you have to skate, or what was the process of getting into it at all?
Dude, okay, you wanna hear a crazy story? I guess you do, it's like, this isn't a
I would love to hear a crazy story.
Yeah, it's a good story. I was getting almost sports. I had moved to California, which is a whole nother process and insane achievement just to be able to live in the United States if people are watching from the United States. I think I was like 23 years old. I was getting to the point where I was just like a little bit like, oh man, like I hope I get picked up like as I am on a brand. And I was just like, I want to skate Street League like so badly. So I was like, yeah, well, how can I do this? And I couldn't sleep this one day. I watched this video on YouTube, and it was about like how to like kind of maximize your potential and get what you want out of your life. And it was about just like setting goals, setting intermediate goals, like benchmarks, and like believing in this process. So I asked myself like a bunch of questions about what I thought I would need to do in a year time frame about how to get into Street League. And I was just like, okay, every day I gotta like come away with something that I'm like stoked on, like something new, whether it's like, you know, a clip or like an Instagram clip or like a new trick or like a trick on a different obstacle, like every day. At the end of the whole process, I was just like, okay, do I believe if I literally do everything that I wrote down here, that I'm gonna get into Street League? And I was just like, I got so juiced up. I think it was like 7 in the morning. So I was like so juiced. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go skate right now. Went and learned my trick. It was crook nollie inward heel. I was really stoked on that.
It's pretty good.
I was hyped, yeah. Shortly after that, I think it was like 2 or 3 months after that, I got on Blind as an amateur, and I talked to Weiss about like the Tampa Pro thing coming up, and I was just like, yo, like Weiss, like I know like the top 2 non-Street League skaters will get spots in Street League. And he's just like, yeah. I was just like, can you get me in that contest, like whatever it takes? And he's just like, yeah, like I'll tell them like you're turning pro, like, you know, shortly after, whatever, you know? So he like just pretty much just told them, and like I was like, if you get me in there, I'm gonna get that spot. And I practiced so hard, like every day, like working on contests for it. And then I like went to Tampa Pro, and I was like 5th place, and like it was like me and Carlos Ribeiro got in. And I like literally like went home, I saw like this checklist that I had on my desk. Like within a year's time, I literally checked that goal off.
All right, for some context, Mickey Papa is unreal. I lived in California for 4 years, so I saw every skateboarder do their thing, including Nyjah. And honestly, Nyjah and Mickey are probably the most I've ever been impressed in person watching pure technical skill. I've been following Mickey ever since I was a little kid in Columbia, South Carolina. I couldn't believe his Thrasher parts. If you find any part he's ever filmed, every trick still holds weight today. But like any other industry, if skill and work ethic were the only attributes required to be successful, the landscape would be much different. And Mickey would be one of the most popular pros today, which I actually think he is, but it does seem like he doesn't get the respect he deserves.
And I was the 2nd amateur to ever be in Street League, which the first one was Matt Berger. Before that was like pros only exclusive.
The thing with Street League now is that it's a stepping stone to the Olympics. I had no idea about the intricacies of how all the contests build points to allow you to skate other contests, and those points lead to Street League, and those points lead to the Olympics. It's kind of confusing, but Mickey's much better at explaining it.
But now it's through World Skate, so everything's a lot different now. It's like mainly amateurs, I feel like. I think you have to get in touch with your governing body for your country, because it's all an Olympic kind of thing now. And then you have to be like one of the top ranked skaters for your country in order to get an open spot in the open qualifier. And there's like 2 days of qualifiers before the Street League now. But it all kind of comes down to your country and your rank within your country globally.
So if you've skated Street League in the past, can you just be like, I want to skate it again, or do you have to go through the process again?
Every Street League I have to like qualify through it.
Jesus.
But they're not really, I don't even know if there's Street Leagues anymore, because there hasn't been one in a while, but like they were a big part of the qualifying event. Now they're just kind of like open qualifiers. But I think Street League is going to be, they're worth the most points out of all the qualifiers.
Totally.
But they're part of a circuit. So once all this craziness kind of ends, I think they'll kind of like come back on and like take their like top ranking qualifying position again in the contest world. But who knows, we'll see.
Okay, so maybe I'm a dork for wondering this, but when I watch Street League and at the beginning they're about to go and it just seems so unbelievably nerve-wracking, I wonder how they feel. I wanna ask them, what's going on in your head? So when Street League starts, can people watch you practice, or is practice like the day before? Like how is that process?
So it's kind of crazy now because it's changed a lot in the last like year or so, but you get a practice session time based on like what group you're in.
Okay.
Like I can't remember if it's like per like kind of country or global rolling ranking. So you keep your ranking keeps rolling with every contest, like where you're at. So what time you get to practice, and you get it for like an hour, and you get like 30 or 40 people on like one course, like charging, like trying to get their practice time in the day before, and then right before your heat you get, I think, is another like 30 minutes or so, and then you pretty much got to be good to go firing when they call you, which will be like, you know, an hour later. You're like sitting there cold, and they're like, hey, do your absolute best trick, no warm up, like 5 minutes, let's go.
So you chill for like an hour before you do your first trick?
Yeah, dude, that's like the actual hardest part of Street League, is that like all those tricks you see out there, people are not warmed up. Unless they're like literally skating flat, like doing jumping jacks, like which people will like try to like get warmed up and stuff, but it's like 0 to 100 like so quickly. How
does your heart feel in the moment when they're like calling your name and they're like, all right, go? Like, do you get really, really nervous or what?
18 Red Bulls deep. I'm just it's like literally, it's so intense because it like, you know, like how many times you'd be like, oh, I got this first try, like you're just skating, and then it takes you like 10 tries, but you're like still in your mind like, I got that trick first try.
Right.
You realize how much you don't have something first try unless you got it 10 times out of 10, no warm up.
So has anyone at Contest or Street League contacted you at all about what's coming up next?
So like with the country factions and stuff like that, like we all have like a governing body president, and they all like kind of keep us up to date on what's happening. The updates change all the time. We have an entire year of qualifiers left before the 2021 like postponement date, and the way that has to go down is that every single country has to have their borders open to every single country to host one qualifiers. And we have a year of them left. You know, like if you imagine we go to a qualifier and it's in, let's say it's in Germany, but they're like, USA isn't allowed to come to this because we're not allowing USA citizens here. Well, that qualifier can't work then, because now America doesn't have an equal fair chance at qualifying for the Olympics because they can't go to a qualifier. It's hard for me to believe that that will happen within a year, that we can host enough qualifiers with no border restrictions, like absolutely zero border restrictions around the world, before we can even start. The other thing is too, 2021, you know, if that date doesn't make it, then there's 2022 Winter Olympics. So you can't do 2022. So the next feasible date would be 2024, which is the next Olympics. I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but I don't, like, realistically, it's kind of hard to see if it would actually happen until 2024.
Okay, so like we probably all guessed, skate contests are indefinitely done. Actually, by the time I released this video, Street League just put up another video that was great. They got a couple pros to hang out and just do some funny, kind of stupid contest type things, and it was obviously just to have fun, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I actually think a video like that could get as many views as a giant contest that costs a lot of money when this probably costs nothing. For a long time, people have been saying content is key, but that's especially true right now. Obviously, I wish skateboarders could come together and watch ridiculous displays of talents, but we can do that right now on the internet. I actually love the fact that we can just go to the comments of a video down below and just talk about what we're passionate about in the comfort of our own homes. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and let me know down below what kind of conversations you want me to have in skateboarding. If there's things you're wondering, I'm here to answer them. I got a lot of friends who work in the industry and who do all this, and you know, I'm willing to ask them all the uncomfortable, weird questions. I'll see you next time for another video. We're trying to do these every week, trying my hardest, but for now, if you want to check out another video on my channel, John Hill, links in description down below where I talk a little bit about contests, and you could, whatever. There's more content to watch anytime you want. Take care, I'll see you next time. Have a good day. Okay, that was kind of weird. I feel like I should just say, progress daily and keep killing it.
Everything I do, I was always like a why kid, like asking my dad 100 questions. It's like, but why? But why? But why? Like, I need to understand this so I can like get better at doing it. And it's just like, You know how many times I heard my dad say, it's like, because I said so. Because I'm just like, literally always like trying to figure things out to like get better and better at things. And it's just like, I hate that in skating that is so discouraged. And
Right.
like, maybe if there's like a conclusion and like all to like wrap it up to like anyone who's watching, is that like, you shouldn't be shy of that. Like, you know, like you shouldn't be cocky about it, but you shouldn't be like out there pretending like you don't want to get better. Like, unless you really don't care and you're there for the lifestyle, I mean, like, do you? But like, if you want to get better, like, I think it should be cool to be like, hey man, like I'm trying to focus right now, like, dude, like we'll catch up after, we'll wrap out, you know, because that, I mean, that's how I am, and hopefully it doesn't rub people the wrong way sometimes, but like, when I'm in the zone, like, I love skating, and I want to do the trick so badly that I want it more than anything else, and I'm just like, can't wait to land it, and then just wrap out with everybody else after.